Welcome to the Daily Coffee Pro friends. Today's episode of the podcast is brought to you by Elixir Specialty Coffee. And we're super excited to announce that starting from today, we will be shipping to Canada, which is very exciting. So if you have wanted to try Elixir and you're based in Canada, please head to elixirspecialtycoffee.com or click the link in the show notes below. If you purchase an Elixir Trio from now until the 15th of December, we will send you an extra one for free. There is a flat rate shipping cost to go from here to Canada. And basically, if you order an Elixir Trio, 2 Elixir Trios, or an Elixir 10-pack, you will pay the same shipping amount. But that's because that's what UPS is charging us. So click on the link below or head to elixirspecialtycoffee.com and grab the Elixir Trio today. Today on the Daily Coffee Pro, we're talking about something that was triggered from a discussion that I had with a client or a company who is about to become a client of mine. And it's something that I talk a lot about with my other consulting clients. And it's the idea of shifting from being reactive in business or as an employee of a business to being proactive in the way that you approach doing business and the way that you approach your job as an employee of the business that you either own or work for. And reasons why this is important is because the way that we move in our day and spend our time determines a lot about the way the people around us react and the way that we affect our own health, both physically and mentally, and the health of the business. So it's important to know that if you are predominantly in a reactive situation with regards to your business, what that means is that you are constantly putting out fires. You are constantly reacting to the things that happen in your day-to-day rather than being proactive, which is planning and getting ready today for what's going to be happening in the future. And so one might look at it as the difference between somebody who works in the business versus somebody who works on the business. Now, it's important, as I was saying, to know that if you are a reactive person in a business or in your career and you're looking to transition to being proactive in your business or in your career, there is a transitionary period. And the reason there's a transitionary period is because learning how to be proactive rather than reactive is a journey. It's a learnt skill. As someone who myself had to work very, very hard over the last probably 10 years at learning how to be highly functional and proactive rather than reactive, I messed it up a lot. And a lot of the studying that I did was with regards to some things that you might think are not quite what you'd expect to be studying in order to get to this, but it was particularly what I've been studying is the Taoist approach to order and chaos. And studying a lot of the things that people have used from the Taoist approach and perspective with regards to order and chaos and how they've applied to things like leadership and organizational psychology and all of the delicious things about workplaces. So, what's involved in you becoming a proactive employee, a proactive leader, and a proactive business owner? First of all, if you want to start to transition towards that, you need to take a really good hard look at what life looks like right now. If you've never looked at the work of Jordan B Peterson, I would recommend going and looking at his work. Now, you may not agree with a lot of what he says. I know that he's a highly controversial psychologist and public figure, but in this realm of things, he is masterful. He has a book. He has a book out, his most recent book, The 12 Rules for Life, I believe it's called, and he speaks at length about ways to transform the chaos that exists in your life into order. Now, that's just one resource around this stuff. I haven't read the book, but I have listened to hundreds of hours of Jordan Peterson's work. Whether it be in podcasts, I've attended lectures of his. I don't agree with everything that he says. I don't agree with some of the political stances that he takes, but he's a highly logical, highly functional, and reasonable human. So take a listen to some of his lectures. And he talks a lot about the idea of you knowing where you're at before you can know where you want to go. So assessing your life with regards to your relationship with chaos. And this is important in our industry, in my opinion, particularly in our industry, because we all work so closely together within our teams. And there is not enough attention being paid towards how much chaos we're causing by not having organizational structures and not having communication strategies and not having cultures, deeply rooted cultures that have been clearly defined and understood within our workplaces. The other thing that's important to understand is having a plan from going from your place of chaos to order. Now, if you're an employee and you're looking at being more proactive in the way that you approach your career rather than reactive in the way that you're approaching your career, the way that you can do that is assess where you're really at. Have you been someone who has just hopped from job to job to job? You got sick of one workplace, so you just took the next opportunity that there was. That's being reactive. In order to be proactive, I would recommend that you consider doing a barista map. They're available on our website through the Barista and Beyond workshop online webinar. But having a 10-year map, we're going into a new decade. This is a great time to start thinking about those kinds of things. And having an idea of where you want to be in 10 years. You don't have to have it clearly defined, but having an idea of where you want to navigate through your career is immediately going to put you into the state of being proactive rather than reactive. And this way, when opportunities show up, you're not reacting to the opportunities, you're looking at the opportunities that have been put in front of you, deciding whether they fit into your plan, and if they don't, going out and seeking the opportunities that are presented to you. Now, leadership and ownership of a business that is reactive versus proactive can have a serious effect, long-term even, a serious long-term effect on the people that work in that kind of an environment. And a reactive leadership and ownership team can result in a highly dysfunctional workplace. A proactive workplace encourages structure, it encourages inspiration, it encourages order, And I don't mean order in a militant sense. I mean order in a peace of mind kind of sense. People understand what their objectives are. They understand why they're at that workplace. They understand what they're contributing to each workplace. And it's important. Going into a new decade and a new year, I would encourage you to start assessing where are you at with regards to business ownership and leadership, and your reactive approach versus your proactive approach. Now, the discomfort of the transition is something that I want to talk about. Understanding how to convert chaos into order can be a very uncomfortable self-reflection. And I speak to this a lot with my clients and in workshops that we have for Map It Forward. Business is going to reveal everything you never wanted to know about yourself. And this goes to the heart of that. If you're running a reactive business, you're probably running a reactive life. And the skills required in order to start converting that chaos into order will require you to engage in some perhaps much needed self-reflection and become self-aware of what your contribution is to the environments that you're creating for your staff and for yourself. I would suggest listening to Jordan Peterson's podcast as a really great place to start if you want to see if these kinds of things resonate with you. Another resource that I would recommend, I spoke about it yesterday on the podcast, and that is an audio book by Brené Brown called The Power of Vulnerability. And the power of vulnerability can be really important when it comes to going on these really often difficult journeys of self-reflection and self-awareness, and understanding where the gaps are that you perhaps need to upskill on. I'm excited about this journey that I'm going to be taking with this new client and that I am taking with my current clients around this subject, because the more structure that we can put into place that's based on the order that they create in their own environment, the higher the probability that they're going to be enjoying their journey in business as employees of their business and watching the business unfold. I hope this has been helpful. We will be looking at wrapping up this podcast for 2019 this week. If you have any questions about the podcast next year and who we're going to be bringing on board, etc., head to our website and check out our survey that we've got going on at mapitforward.org/2019 survey. The link is also in the show notes below. And I would love it if you would answer that survey and give us all the delicious feedback that we need to bring you the best content we possibly can next year. I really value you guys, and I'm just so grateful that we all get to connect on this level. So we want to make it bigger and better next year. We have lots of new stuff happening next year, and we want to make sure that it is in alignment with what's going to best serve our community. On that note, peace, love, and peanut butter. Have an amazing rest of your day.